Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Ben, and welcome to our Heart Platformer series in Godot 4. This series was made possible by the students who support me by purchasing my courses. If you're interested in that, there'll be a link in the pinned comment. In this video, we're going to be theming our UI. In the last one, we set up our start menu, but it isn't themed. It's using Godot's default theming, which doesn't really look good for the game that we're trying to make. So we're going to create a new theme. Now, the first thing we need is going to be a texture that we can use as a 9 slice. So when creating a button, Godot can use a 9 slice, which will slice the texture into 9 slices. And you'll have this top left corner, kind of like a tic-tac-toe grid. If you imagine a tic-tac-toe grid, those are the slices, with the center being what stretches, and the edges and corners, the corners won't stretch at all, and the edges will stretch. Like these ones will stretch vertically, and these ones will stretch horizontally. So I've already opened up Sprite here, which is the pixel art software I use, and I've created a simple 9 slice. You can see we have our center here, and then we have the white edges, and then these gray corners that won't stretch. And we're going to set this up inside of the game. So I'm going to do File, Save As, come into, let's see, Godot 4, and our Heart Platformer. And we'll save it in here, and I'm going to call it white 9 slice .png. Save it. Actually, it's black on the interior. I did this wrong. Actually, I want it to be white on the interior. So I'm gonna fix this real quick. That's actually what I want it to do. I'm gonna save that. Okay, and come back out again. Now the other thing we need is a font. So I'm gonna come into here. I have a pixel art font that I made here called Pixel Font. I'm gonna copy it and paste it into the Heart Platformer folder here. Now again, in the pinned comment, there's a GitHub page that has all of these assets. You can download the folder, and it will actually give you the finished version of the game, but you'll have all of these resources. So we can save, and then now we should be able to see them inside of here. So if we look for our 9 slice, there it is, and if we look for our font, there it is, Pixel Font. Okay. Let's start with the 9 slice, and you could manually theme each of these buttons. If you click on a button here, you can see over here we have a theme, and then we have theme overrides, so you can manually adjust parts of the theme. In particular, the styles would affect the 9 slice, and you can see we have different ones for whether it's hovering or normal or pressed. And in fact, we're going to need those now that I think about it. So I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to make kind of an inverted one of these where it starts off as black, and then it goes to this darker color here, and then has, do we just be black? I'm gonna actually keep the outside white, but have the inside be black, like that. And I could actually increase this by a few pixels. I hit the C key and drag this over this down. Oops, I messed up, but we can fix it like that. And then I wanted to add in these edges on this so that we're aliasing on the white there. I made this one slightly bigger to have a little bit more detail on it. And then I'm going to bring those in and File, Save As, and this will be the black 9 slice. Now we have the black 9 slice as well. So yeah, we have these different styles, but we don't want to theme individual buttons, but we don't want to theme each individual button like that. We want to have a theme that gets used for all of the UI in our game. And to do this, we can right click over here, and we can go New, and resource, and then search for theme. And we'll create a new theme. We can call it default theme. And Godot will open up this new theme tab here. Now, theming inside of Godot, like I said, you can theme everything. But if you do want to individually theme certain buttons, then you do have those overrides where you can do it. It will override the default theme. So that's where those are useful. So if we double click on this, it will open up this tab if it's not already open for you. And we can start theming certain things here. This is the default theme that Godot is already using. And the first thing we can do is if we come over here, you can see this little plus button. This is where we can add types. And types are basically just overrides to this default theme. That makes sense. So we can come in here. Well, that might not be the best way to put it. It changes the default theme, okay? But only with the types that you decide to change. And the benefit of this is that you don't have to create an entire theme from the very beginning. You only theme the thing that your game uses. So what is our game using right now? It's using the buttons. So we're going to search for button here for the type. And we can click on it. And now we have this information right here, which gives us access to changing the default theme on our button. Okay, and there's different tabs here for the different things that we can change. So the first thing here is the font color, and we'll change this. So I click the little plus there, and now I can click over here and adjust the font color to make it white. So by default, the font color will be, actually, we want the default to be black. And you can see it does affect that. It gets changed over here. Now on focus, font color focus, we want it to be white. And on font color hover, we also want it to be white, although actually that doesn't matter because we're only using keyboard input, but yeah. And pressed, we might want it to be black again. I think that's what we'll do. So, okay, so we've adjusted the font colors and we can save this. And we can come to our start menu here, and you can see the start menu has a theme. And if we drag our theme into here, it will set that theme for everything that is a child of the start menu. However, there's a better way to do this to where every single control node that we have will use our new theme. And the way to do that is to come into project settings, and search for theme here. And you can see under theme, there's a custom theme. And we're going to select our default theme.trs for that. And it says changes will it be applied. Okay, this isn't going to affect the editor. We're going to restart, save and restart, and see what happens here. Okay, we come back into our start menu, and now, okay, it's working. The buttons have the font is black by default, but when it's when we're hovering over it, then it's white. And if we click on it, it will go black and kind of blink. So our theme is reflecting in our buttons. Now we can open up the theme again, and we want to fix the font. So let's come to our pixel font here. Click on it, and this is new to me. A lot of this UI is actually new to me. It's very different from how it was in Godot 3. So keep that in mind. I might not know exactly where all this goes, but our font, this font should be sized at, here's our new configuration here, should be sized at 6. I don't know that this will actually change anything really to set that there. And we have a whole bunch of other properties here that we're not really going to mess with. Okay, it does say we've set the size to 6, and then we'll re-import. And we'll see how this works. So come into project settings, and then you can type theme again. And we can set a default font as well, a custom font. So we should have done this before restarting, I guess. Is there like a default font subpixeling? 1/2 of a pixel, I think, is what we want. Well, I'll show you that in a second. Let's pick our default font here and save and restart again. I have to do this a few times because I want to show you how stuff actually works. Come back to our start game. You can see that it does have this font. It's a little bit, first of all, it's big. The pixels are massive, right? And then in the editor here, you can see that it's got kind of like these weird shadows, subpixeling stuff. So if we come back into project settings again, come back into theme, you can see we can set the subpixeling to 1/2 of a pixel, or we could disable it. Let's try 1/2 of a pixel. Happens. This should help with the font being kind of blurry in the editor. Okay, so 1/2 of a pixel pretty much made it the same. So maybe I do need to actually disable it completely in order to remove the kind of blur that we've got going on here. Disable it, save and restart. Makes it so that the game can't try and draw the font at like 1/2 pixels, which makes sense for a Pixar game. It still didn't fix it. I thought that I had solved that problem by adjusting those properties. But, you know, I guess I didn't. Or maybe we just need to fix the font size still. So let's come back into our theme. And inside of our theme, we should be able to add, or we come into the button here, the button type, come to the font, and it does have that font that we set as a default. You can see the font size is still set to 16 for the button. And this needs to be 6. And now in our preview, that's going to make the font absolutely tiny, right? And that's because it is a small font. It's a small pixel art game. But now when we come into here, it does show the font as the correct size. How is our VBox container messed up? Oh, I must have accidentally moved it somehow. Interesting. I must have clicked on it. We're going to do full rect again. That should move it back. And quit still has that weird blur in here. I thought the subpixeling would fix it. It's not in the game, right? It's only in here. I thought the subpixeling fixed that, but I don't know why it's doing that. I'm missing something here. But it's working in the game, so I guess it doesn't matter as much. It's just a little bit irritating to see it incorrect there. So now we want to fix the button 9 slices, right? So that we're using pixel art theme for this. Let's come into here. And on our button here, we have this kind of like rainbow with a teardrop, a rainbow teardrop here. This is your style boxes. And style box, by default, it's using a style box flat. We're going to come and do the normal style box here, add a plus here so that we can override it, and click on, well, let's actually make a resource for our style box. So before this, we're going to click over here. I want to show it though. We'll do it here. We'll click here, and then we'll do new style box texture. And that creates a new style box for normal. You can see it's using it over here now. And if we click on it, I wish I could zoom into this over here. That would be nice to be able to zoom in, especially when using pixel art fonts. We click over here, we've got our style box texture. If I click on this texture, it hides the theme. And that's annoying to me. It hides the theme and pops this up over here. So I can't actually see this style box affecting the theme as I'm editing it. Now this is different in Godot 4. I think in Godot 3 you could edit the style box and view the theme at the same time. At least that's what I remember. Maybe I have rose tinted glasses here, but I don't like that. And I wanted to show this so that you could see that. Let's come into the texture. We want our white slice. We'll drag it right here as a texture. Now, it's currently stretching the entire texture across this, and it looks awful. So what we want to do is set our texture margins. Now, we only need to go 1 pixel in on each edge, right? And for this one. So we're going to do left, 1 pixel in, right, 1 pixel in. No, we actually need to go 2 pixels because remember that we have this empty bit, so we need to go 2 pixels in. So 2, 2, 2, and 2. Now, that looks better, right? It still looks kind of stretched, and that's because Godot, even though in the editor here, it's going to draw it correctly, or not in the editor, in this display window here, it will draw it correctly. Over here, it doesn't actually draw currently, this is a bug as far as I know, it doesn't actually draw this pixel art texture. It uses the linear filtering. When we've disabled linear filtering, remember, because we're doing pixel art, we've set it to not have linear filtering, but it's still using it here when it's displaying it in this window. So we'll save, and if we click out and come back in, then you can see that it is using this new style box that we set. And if we come into what do we want to do here? We want to come back into our theme because I lost my style box somehow. So coming back into the theme, we'll click on this. Now we need to save this, so we can click these little properties up here, let's see. No, this save icon right here. You save as, and the resource can't be saved because it does not belong to the edited scene. Make it unique. Okay, so we need to make it unique. So we'll click this. Do we have to do that in the theme? Click this little drop down arrow here, and we'll do make unique, and then we'll do save. Here we go. Now we'll call this white 9 slice. Save it. It's still just saying style box texture there. So we're going to search for our white 9 slice and drag it and drop it right here. There. That's what we want. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the way that I usually do this, which is right clicking over here, new resource, looking for style box, doing style box texture, and saving this as black 9 slice. Double clicking on it and just editing this in this way. I feel like this is better. For this one, we need to come in 3 on our margins. Every direction. There we go. We can save and open up our theme again. Now for pressed, we want to actually use the white 9 slice. We'll use the white one for pressed as well, for normal and pressed. And then for focus and hover, we're going to use the black 9 slice. Now for disabled, no, for focus, it doesn't really matter, but for focus, what you want to do usually actually is do an empty style box empty. Because the focus style box is drawn on top of the other style box. So we can just do it empty for now, but you can use that in order to like overlay different ones. So maybe not. Where's my theme? Oh, here we go. For focus and for hover, we have black. Okay, I'm going to drag the black one into focus as well. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to do that. Wait, what? Did I reverse them? Is that the real problem here? Come into the start menu and see how in world we have rendering server set default color. We want to put this inside of our start menu now. I don't think we'll have to change it though. Once we set it once, we're good. Yeah, here we go. But see, our focus is actually hover moves the text. Our focus is actually set to black, and I think it makes more sense to have it be white. It feels reversed to me. So we're gonna do focus will be white, hover will be white, and then pressed will be black. And normal will be black. Now can we just do, for focus, can we just do an empty style box? New style box empty? No, that doesn't work still. We do have to actually use the white style box for focused. Sometimes I have to click this. I double click this, it doesn't do anything, which surprises me. Okay, but now we have to fix our font too, because yeah, you can add a preview here, which would let you select your start menu, for example, and we can see the start menu right here as a preview. But again, I can't zoom in, which at least that I know of, there's no way to zoom in, which kind of makes it useless for pixel art stuff. Come back into our font. Our font colors here, we'll do white for font color. Font color focus will be black. Hover will also be black. And then clicked or pressed will be white. There we go. Now it's working how we want it to. And it looks pretty good. However, the text, the font is kind of close to the edges of the button, right? And there's a couple ways that we could fix this. The easiest way, the one that I'm most comfortable with, is to come into the buttons. I'm going to select both of them. And then you can just set their min size inside of their layout. You can see they have a custom minimum size. And we can set this, like maybe we want their minimum height to be 24. And their minimum, well, that's pretty high, 16. And their minimum width to be 48, I don't know, 64. Yeah, something like that. So that's a pretty easy way to solve that problem. And it definitely looks better when you do that. And we can still use the mouse to hover over these, but it's starting to look themed appropriately, right? Where it wasn't before. Project settings. If we come into the UI, let's see, pixel, snap. Snap controls to pixels. So this by default is on. Keep this in mind. Godot is going to snap all control nodes to pixels. It won't try and draw them in between pixels. So keep that in mind. And default, here's our default font sub-pixeling again, which doesn't seem to be working. You can also tell Godot to snap transforms to pixels or 2D vertices to pixels. This feels really weird to me when I've used it. So I don't really find that to be useful personally. I haven't ever found it to be useful. But in our font here, I know there's a way to fix the blurriness of this font. I've done it before. I just can't remember what it was. This is all still new to me with Godot 4. But what I want to do here, I don't actually like how the white one looks. So I'm going to open white 9 slice. And I don't like that it uses this lighter gray. I'd actually rather do something like this for it. So you'll obviously have the newest version already. But I think that this will look nicer than having that kind of weird outline. Yeah, this looks much nicer to me. Okay, we've got to start game or quit. Let's start the game. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll grab that one, and that. And you can see level complete also uses the correct text. It's scaled up, and that might not be what you want, right? So if we come into level complete, we look at our label here. The text is very large. Maybe that is what you want. Maybe you want it to be large like this, but it doesn't follow the strict pixel art sizing. If we were to come back into our default theme, we could add, see this is a label, we could add our label. And inside of the label, we could set the font size as well to 6. Got to click on it and wait a second. And then if we tab out and tab back in, now it shows that as the correct size as well. Which again, I got to click on here. I did it. And there's level complete. Okay. Save. When we come back into world, you can see we have show level complete. I'd like a timer here. So I'm going to add a timer. No, because we can't do that because we're pausing the game, right? We're pausing the game right away. Let's see. I wonder if that pauses tree timers. If we could do a tree timer. I think we can do a tree timer. Let's try it. So we'll say get tree dot create timer, and then we'll do. Then we need to tell it how long to create the timer for. So we'll do 1 second, and process always is default set to true. So that's how we can know that it's going to process even when the game is paused. And what we can do is we can await, and then do dot timeout. So we can await on creating this new timer for 1 second on its timeout. Okay, and this will, because what happens right now is the game immediately fades, but this will show level complete for a second and then fade. And in my opinion, that's a much better transition from one level to the other. So that kind of fixes that. So we're going to wrap up this video. We've themed our start menu here. We have themed the label for the level complete, which won't work if I don't grab this heart. And, oh, I didn't make it. Oh, man. That's the next thing we need to fix, I think. And we've set this to be a better transition between levels, adding that 1 second. So we're getting close to the end of this tutorial series. I want to take this moment to kind of talk about what my plans are for the future. So I want to finish this tutorial series. I see it taking maybe maybe 3 more videos, 2 to 3 more videos. What I want to do is I want to polish up the wall jumping so that it works more consistently. Although I did find it worked better with a controller, but I want it to feel good to do wall jumping. Right now it feels kind of terrible still. I want to add a timer for each level so that you can have kind of like your own personal records to see how fast you can complete each level. And that might actually be it. That's kind of what I wanted for this game, was to be a very simple, like, collect all the hearts in a level is as fast as you can. Some people have requested adding like a dash to the character, like a Celeste type dash. That would be I don't know if I want to do that, so I'm not going to make any promises. But I won't completely rule it out as an option, so keep that in mind. We'll see how I feel when I get the wall jumping better and the timer implemented. We'll see how I feel at the end of that. But yeah, I suspect 2 to 3 more videos in this series. Now, I'd originally promised a card game series, and I'd started working on that actually, and I was making good progress with it. But then Godot 4 came out, and it feels kind of pointless to do a Godot 3 tutorial series now that Godot 4 is out. Not that Godot 3 is a bad engine, it's just that, as a content creator, a Godot 3 series is not going to get very much attention. And if it does get attention, people are just going to do it in Godot 4 anyways. Most people will. So I want to redo that for Godot 4. So that's my current plan with the YouTube series right now. Finish up this series and then start that deck building card game in Godot 4. But I have to take that Godot 3 code and redo it in Godot 4. So I don't know how long that process is going to take. And I might do some pixel art videos as well. I'm working on a new pixel art course. So I might do some pixel art videos here on YouTube, although that course might be a ways out, so keep that in mind. Anyways, those are my plans. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you learned it and enjoyed it. And I will see you all in the next one.